Hey guys, I'm coming to you from actually the Cheyenne River. It's extremely high right now. We've been getting a lot of rainfall. And the reason I'm back here is because I am not really going to plan out this review like I normally do. Usually it's all scripts and videography, things like that. But I'm honestly so far backed up in review products that I've got to find a way to mix it up every once in a while and get a review out quickly while still covering all the usability and things that you guys like. So today we're actually going to cover the Arylic S10. It is a replacement for the original S10. It has a lot of new features. Still has some limitations that we're going to cover, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. Now I'm just going to walk out of the wilderness here and see if I can get out of here without a tree falling on me or getting covered in poison ivy. So I'll connect you guys back once we get into the shop. All right, see you guys in a second. As you can see, the shop is kind of a disaster right now. I've got a lot of different projects going on between speaker builds, there's veneering, just various projects, some stands that are going to be coming out, my little mini paint lab that I use when I'm in here so I don't get overspray everywhere. Now I'm going to move you guys over to my tripod so we can get into this product. So we have the Arylic S10 Plus, like I mentioned. And if we just take a look at this one, right off the bat we can kind of see that it has a screen here. But it offers Spotify Connect, you got the Wi-Fi connection, AirPlay, but there's a limitation there. It is AirPlay 1, no AirPlay 2 on this one. Multi-room, and then it also can function as a USB DAC, so you can just go straight to your computer if you want. Looking at anything else here, you can see all the connections they offer: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Napster, QQ, Tidal, Amazon Music. That's a good one, so that's missed on some of these streaming devices. One thing I did notice when I took a look at this, we have Spotify Connect, but we do not get Tidal Connect, which that one is offered from WiiM, so that's one thing to note too. If we open this up, we get a manual, so we can toss that. Let's see what we get here. We get a remote, and this is a familiar one. This one looks just like the remote from the previous model. These are all right, just a normal form factor here. You can get all the controls, volume, switch between inputs, some of the EQ options, as well as presets. It's actually a pretty well-equipped little remote. Accessories that it comes with, we get the USB cable. This could be going to your computer to power it, or it could be going into this power brick into the wall if you're going to go that way, which it's actually kind of nice. We get a power brick on this one. Lately, products seem to be getting away from supplying the power bricks. They assume, I guess, that we have 49 of them available, but it's kind of nice to have it. And then we get the 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch here. And then we also get an RCA to 1/4 inch. And we'll need these for what we're going to do today. And taking a look at the device. Okay, we get a nice little screen here. We'll plug this in and power it on in a second. On the top, we get some controls. What's kind of interesting about the controls is there's no tactile feel to these. Like it doesn't feel like you're actually pushing anything when I push these buttons. So we'll see how well they behave when I actually have it plugged in. Nothing to note on the bottom. But on the back, one advantage that these Arylic ones have always had over like the WiiM Mini would be you can have a wired connection or wireless. So that's a bonus. If we look at the Mini here, there's definitely no wired connection there. But I honestly generally use wireless anyways. And then we have a USB, and this one's going to be connecting for your external drives, things like that, USB stick, portable hard drive, anything there. We have the line in, the line out, an optical out, so you could actually pass this onto another digital device. And then we have the USB-C here, and this is what we would use if we want to connect this to our PC and use this as, a DAC, preamp, streamer, combo, something like that, or where we're going to plug this into the wall to power it up. Let's take a little look here and compare the devices, I guess. You can definitely see some upgrades here, as in before we just had these LEDs to show you what was going on as far as connections. Now we'll have a screen. That IR sensor is actually built into here, you just can't see it. There was no controls on the top of the old model. There is now. They did have, it was a very glossy, you could probably steal my fingerprints right off the top of the previous model. That thing's really shiny. On the back, it's really similar, but we still do get some upgrades here that I think are pretty important. We get both have the LAN connection, both USB, ins and outs the same, but that optical out is pretty important on the new one, as well as moving to a USB-C. That DAC feature and just that connection is a nice upgrade on these, I would say. And if we want to compare it to the WiiM Mini, you get an idea on size differences here. Mini's really small and compact. It's hard to argue against that one. Controls, similar on the top. You get a little bit more control from this new Arylic device as far as switching some of that. I don't know if it'll be easier to use or not. We'll see. On the back, they're getting to be pretty similar, except for the fact that there's no wired connection on the WiiM, but we have the ins and outs over the 1/4 inch USB Type-C, and both of these have the optical out. So that's kind of cool to see. Looks like it's catching up. And just to give you an idea, this one is priced at $69 right now, and I believe the WiiM Mini is somewhere around $89 right now. So let's actually power this one up and take a look here. I don't have a computer hooked up out here right now, so we'll go directly into the wall and just use this as a streaming device. Okay. It's finding a Wi-Fi connection there, I assume. We have buttons on the top that actually light up on this one, which is kind of cool. That's a nice addition, I'd say. We can push, oh, it's cycling through. It must be starting something up here. We should be able to push this button here to cycle the inputs. Okay, the button feels pretty good. I wasn't sure how it would feel since there is no button sensation there. I guess the next thing to do is to actually plug this into the amp here, and then we'll bring up the apps and take a look at what they offer. I have a pretty good idea what they offer. They're typically really similar to the WiiM software. Not as detailed, and it doesn't include quite as much as WiiM offers, but we'll give you an idea on that in just a bit here. Okay, let's take a look here at some of the software. Let's start with Go Control. We're going to skip the registration. It sees the device. Okay, so from here you can change the inputs on it. All of that's good. Volume, it looks like track controls. And you can also do a little bit of EQ here, treble, mids, bass, balance, max volume. You see crossover and deep bass down here, but that doesn't have anything to do with this product. That'd be some of their other ones where you can do some of the sub controls. You can go to EQ, or you can select some defaults here, things like that, or you can actually build out your own, add a custom, confirm. Oh, looks like we have to actually name it. We'll just put test, confirm. Okay, so now we have this custom list here, and we can just, adjust anything we want here. Go back to the typical flat here. All right, so that's pretty simple. I don't think there's anything in settings that's really going to come into play here. Volume step, LEDs. Can we turn the LEDs off? Yep, we can turn that front display off from here, so I guess that's kind of nice. Let's look at the other app. We have the 4Stream app, and this one is going to feel a lot like the WiiM apps. It's going to look really similar anyways. You'll see the device here, but when you go into settings, you'll notice there's quite a few less options here. We can do anything like renaming, device info, alarm clock, EQ. EQ is pretty limited, treble or bass. And then you can set your presets up as well. So if we actually go into the music here, this is going to feel all similar. We'll just go to Amazon Music, go to a station. We'll just go to pop culture radio. How about, huh? Just what I would listen to. Probably not. But anyways, I mainly wanted to bring this up so that I could test the actual button responses here. So from here, we know that we can increase the volume, and that does work just fine. It's really responsive. Whoops, I hit the input. Okay, but what isn't very intuitive on this, that is kind of important on this top part here, and maybe I would have known this if I read the manual, you actually do get the track controls here too. If you hold the plus, that'll actually skip tracks to to the next track or back. You can skip tracks that way too. It's just not very clear when you look at it. You'd mainly think that these are play, pause, lower volume, increase volume, and input. So just wanted to put that out there for you. So if I was shopping these two, and I only say these two because I think the new S10 Plus is a no-brainer over the original A10. There's quite a few advancements, so we're just going to put that one aside. But if we're looking at the WiiM and the S10 Plus, I mean, to break this down, you get a nice screen on the S10 Plus. You don't get that on the WiiM. Helps you see a little bit more on what you have selected rather than having to go into the app. You get, I would say, better controls on the top of the new S10 Plus. So that's another one in their direction. The form factor, I kind of like this form factor rather than this little puck. Then if you look at the rear, I mean, they're going to be pretty similar. The only major difference is going to be that wired connection is available in the S10 Plus, which could be important for a lot of people. And I guess to go further on this, where you're going to lose out compared to the WiiM would be this one only has AirPlay 1 versus this is AirPlay 2. And then the actual output quality as well, because the S10 Plus is going to be 44.1 16-bit versus the WiiM has 192.24. So for some people, that's a big deal. You do run into a couple other things like Tidal Connect is on WiiM, no Tidal Connect on the S10 Plus, but both do offer Spotify Connect. All the other connections are mostly similar. The app is another big area. The app on the S10 actually works pretty well. It was smooth in my experience. It just is very limited in comparison to what you get on the WiiM. And with the WiiM, we know all the software updates that they're going to provide, and basically their infinite support. The S10 Plus, I should say, I'm not really sure yet. So we'll see there. But I think the product actually works pretty well, and it's priced pretty cheap. I mean, $69. We get all this. We get a remote. We don't get a remote on the WiiM. You have to buy that separately. So I think you're getting a lot for $69. What would hold me back on it for myself is probably the output quality, the 44.1 16-bit. I would have no problem keeping this out of my shop like it's out here right now and using it in this space. But I generally keep my products, my streamers and things like that, I'm looking for that 192.24, things like that or more. So those are more my main system. But I definitely see a place for this one. I think this was a really good upgrade that they made over the previous model. And I just wanted to show you guys today my quick little overview. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for putting up with this new format. It's my first try at this, so it's a little bit of a challenge over what I'm used to when I'm, generally reading from a script, things like that. And like I said, this isn't going to be the new format going forward. I would just like to include this into what I'm doing now so that I can get more reviews out to everyone. I thought today it was a fun product. It was a nice quick little review, and I think these kind of reviews are good for this sort of thing. If you guys could like, comment, subscribe, that'd be great. It helps me push this out to a much wider audience. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.